Riley here?
Red alert!
Did you know that a new preview of the Inside Out 2 movie has been released? And in these new scenes, you can see exactly what each of Riley's new emotions will be like. We watched the new preview of Inside Out 2 released by Disney and discovered amazing details and curiosities that we will reveal in this video now. To find out everything, just stay here for the next few minutes. Appearance of Envious. To start, let's first talk about the one who takes on the role of the likely main villain in the Inside Out 2 movie. The small, innocent, and dangerous Envious. In the first movie poster released at the end of 2023, we can see some very cool details about this new emotion. We notice that she has simply huge eyes, which perfectly matches her main characteristic, which is wanting what others have. And what better way to help with that than having big eyes to covet other people's things, right? Furthermore, we saw that she is quite small, especially when compared to Embarrassed, who seems to be simply enormous. But we'll talk more about that in a little while. And in the image revealed in this new Disney preview, the Envious' size issue is fully confirmed. Despite only seeing a shadow of the character, it is possible to notice some very cool details, such as her tiny size, which certainly gives her a deceptive appearance of defenselessness. Also, we can see that she probably also wears boots, and apparently a kind of high-neck sweater, just like Sadness. But we believe she will have clothes in stronger colors, like pink, to match her hairpins maybe. Furthermore, something that cannot go unnoticed is the fact that Envious's hair has a somewhat messy shape, with several separate strands. This indicates that even using those small hairpins we just talked about, they still remain somewhat rebellious. So, do you think she will be envious of Sadness's hair? Anxiety's memories. Another thing we couldn't help but notice is the first 100% anxiety emotion, the new emotion that gained total prominence in the trailer. We can see an entirely orange memory being rolled and added to all the other memory spheres. This means that at some point in the movie, Riley will become anxious about something, and this will make her extremely uncomfortable in some situation and undoubtedly quite apprehensive. And this is a perfect description of adolescence and everything that happens in it. Now, what will happen to make her so anxious? We don't know. But the options are numerous, like being close to an important hockey game, or maybe a date with Jordan. Or perhaps Riley may be about to take a very important school test. We'll only find out when we watch the movie, but I sincerely think it has something to do with Jordan, don't you agree? But one thing we are sure of, and also noticed in this preview, were the mixed memories. Although in the first trailer, we clearly noticed the existence of some memories that had two colors. In this new preview, it was possible not only to notice more details, but also, for example, we can see an almost entirely red memory, the color of anger, with a green piece from disgust, as if she had accidentally eaten something disgusting that made her angry. Or even a memory sphere that mixes fear and joy emotions, like half and half. Did she go skydiving? And even a memory that mixed sadness and disgust emotions, as if a frog had jumped on her. The fact is that it seems like Riley's emotions are working much more in harmony than in the first movie, as several of the girl's memories, if not all, have a mixture of sensations, quite different from the first movie where the spheres were all one color. I mean, at least it was like that before anxiety arrived, since the sphere is entirely orange, meaning it is a memory completely focused on this single emotion. That will probably happen with all the new emotions too. And if you don't want to risk getting anxious about the next Inside Out news, there is a simple solution. Just subscribe to this channel here. That way, it will be harder for you to miss our next videos about this amazing movie. Agreed? Appearance of ennui. In addition to Envious's appearance, it was also possible to see the appearance of the other emotions. I mean, we could see their shadow, so we could get a real sense of what they would be like. Ennui, contrary to what its appearance on the poster made us believe, will have very long and large hair in the best rock and roll style. Or maybe it's a she, a girl with long hair. Additionally, its silhouette strongly resembles that of a drooping plant, as if it were somewhat withered, which matches the feeling of ennui quite well, don't you think? Moreover, we can see that ennui's feet are particularly long, which immediately made me imagine the emotion walking and dragging its feet in a huge laziness. Tell me, that would definitely make a lot of sense, don't you agree? We can also notice that the character is going to be quite slim, which reinforces the idea that he might be a distant cousin of Fear, as they are the two characters with the longest noses in the film. We're still going to talk about Embarrassed's appearance in the video, so stay tuned. Joy and confetti. Another part that catches a lot of attention is the scene where we see Joy, always her, celebrating something quite enthusiastically. And if you look closely, you'll find this scene very similar to sports booths that broadcast game matches. What makes even more sense for two reasons. The first is the fact that Joy is using a microphone in the style of a sports commentator. Another thing that makes the scene even more reminiscent of great sports moments is the fact that it is quite clear that a lot of confetti, the kind used to celebrate victories, is being released in the background, which may indicate that it's a moment of celebration for something incredible that Riley may have done during a hockey game, maybe a great play or the winning point. But there's also another possibility. Joy may be in the center of the emotions, coordinating the other emotions that this time are lost in Riley's mind, where she, Sadness, and Bing Bong were wandering until returning to the control center in the first movie. But who knows? With Joy's guidance, they might be able to return more easily, and she may be celebrating because they made it back safe and sound. It's just a theory, but it could definitely happen. But what matters is to stay positive, and to prove that you're optimistic about the Inside Out movie and rooting for it to be as good as the first one, or maybe even better, comment below, #emotions. Sadness telling the truth. In another super cool scene from the preview, we see that Joy and Sadness are having a conversation, which is great because now they are very close. Quite different from the first movie when Joy wanted to practically get rid of the blue emotion. In this dialogue, Joy sort of asks Sadness if she, Joy, had ever made a mistake before, and Sadness replies, yes, many times. Truly, honesty is one of the characteristics of friendship, isn't it? I found this part really cool because it shows that they, besides working together for Riley's well-being, are also having to make an important decision, probably related to something Riley needs to do or say. So I'm really excited to see the movie and find out exactly what they're talking about. Maybe Joy wants to isolate anxiety, just like she tried to do with Sadness in the first movie, and Sadness is telling her that's not the best thing to do. And it really isn't. If that's the case, I'm definitely with Sadness on this one. Embarrassed's appearance. As the poster showed, from Embarrassed silhouette, you can see that he is simply enormous, which makes perfect sense since Embarrassed always makes things seem much bigger than they really are. Additionally, we can see that this new pink emotion is quite cute and chubby, and its nose is, as we suspected, quite large and round. Moreover, we notice two very cool details. The first of them is the small design of Embarrassed's hair, which shows that he will have a kind of small quiff, which honestly, I'm really excited to see. And the second one is related to the body language of the emotion, which, despite being undoubtedly the largest of all the emotions, at least physically, in the emotion room, he keeps both feet close together. A typical position that everyone has probably done, even without realizing it, when they felt embarrassed at some point, especially after receiving an unexpected compliment. About his clothing, we couldn't see many details, but he definitely won't be wearing a cap. Riley's mom's anxiety. To conclude, let's talk more about a theory than a specific detail. When the new Inside Out movie was announced with the presence of new emotions, one of the big questions that was raised was, where were these other emotions in the minds of older characters, like Riley's parents for example? And indeed, this is something we really want to see explained in the movie. But until the movie is released, we can create some theories. One of them suggests that, in fact, Riley's mom's mind is entirely controlled by anxiety, and those 5 emotions we see in the movie are actually subordinate to her. This would explain why the central emotion in Riley's mom is sadness, which, let's face it, theoretically has more affinity with anxiety than any other emotion. So this theory would perfectly explain at least where anxiety would be in Riley's mom's mind. Now, as for her dad, I'm not so sure if this would apply, but it would definitely make a lot of sense regarding her mom. It would! These are the new sensational details and curiosities we've brought to share with you today, because you deserve it. After all, Inside Out is one of Pixar's best movies, and we really hope the second movie is just as good. While it hasn't been released yet, you can watch our videos here on the channel, so we've picked out some for you to choose from. Just decide what you want to watch first and click on it. Thanks, and have fun!